I think it's really fun that we can continue to talk about raids that are going fast, and that's what you're going to see here on the Classic Era server Whitemane. This is the fastest ever Horde Naxx to take place, just over, what is it, 45 minutes? We could look at the rankings. 45 minutes and 5 seconds. What's cool too is they beat the EU guild, Fun Police, that was, what was it, 50 seconds slower than that, just a week earlier. If you look at the Fun Police raid, they had some clear advantages. They did some more tech. They had the fire buff, more crits, and still NA came out on top. So again, what you're seeing here is a standard Naxx start going into Spiderwing rather than what you would see in the Fun Police raid where they would do the Gigapole after starting a noob. So basically what I'm getting at is the raid that we're watching here is doing less tech and they're going faster, which to me is always fascinating. And you see right in the title here, sloppy 45-minute Horde Naxx record. Well, it's no longer the record, so they should change that title. But yeah, if it's sloppy, it's not going to be number one. So really cool to see a raid like this take place. I don't think that there's really a whole ton to say. I mean, I can kind of just go through it quick in terms of they just drag everything and press W. This is an experienced raid group that is full of um, a strong amount of DPS players. You're going to see Kobiaro does end up coming in number one DPS. No surprise there, but lots of competition to be able to pull that off. There's a lot of good warriors in this raid group. Good tanks too, good healers, like all around this is a really quality raid. One thing I find interesting is the Horde meta compared to the Alliance with number of healers, generally just so that you have the support needed. Like you see 7 shamans in this raid. I guess technically you could have 6 shamans. Englaved is in some ways extra, but it's just interesting to me in general. You see 11 healers on Horde side and 10 healers on Alliance side for the meta speed runs. So you would think kind of means that Alliance have stronger damage. Well, in reality, Horde with Wind Fury is just pretty cracked. Like, look at all these numbers. Just zoom, 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 zoom. They're blasting. So interesting to note on Alliance side, you have a Paladin that does the first Gigapole in Fairlina. On Horde side, they have a Warrior that does it. They're doing the Gigapole now. They do have the Rogue that pulls off the Gigapole. So from here on, they're just able to speed and run through. And successful Gigapole there, so that's great. Interesting always for me to see this pull right here. This is like the decider of a couple seconds a lot of times, right? When people are all just waiting, whole raid is ready to run in and they're just stuck killing mobs like this. Instances like that 4 or 5 times throughout a raid are what adds up to 10, 15, 20 seconds. So it really does mean a lot. But again, they're just blasting, going through, clearing content quickly. Execute almost dies there. Looks how low this warrior gets. And that would have been a little bit of a morale killer for sure. Down to like 200 health right there. I would be interested to look at the number of flasks used in this raid. I'm just going to wuss out and not do a whole detailed analysis right now on this raid. I'm curious, let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. I'm trying to do more and more of this stuff on YouTube, and I just don't really know necessarily all the time what the viewers are interested in consuming as content. So always feel free to let me know what you're interested in me talking about more or covering more. But again, you're just seeing press W, killing things quickly. Always interesting to me to see how many healers they have on Lotheb. Looks to me like they only have 2 healers sitting out, which kind of surprises me. Again, that's definitely a different meta on the Alliance side. On Alliance side, you'd probably see 2 or 3 less healers. Maybe part of that is just the fact with paladins you can lay on hands and use Judgment of Light, and it's extremely powerful. So they're just a little bit more limited here in terms of how much healing they're able to do on the raid. But the fact that they are shamans means that 1 or 2 healers, like the fact it's englaved is just going ham and healing like crazy. Very good healer. So they're just blasting all this down. Really nothing to note throughout all this. It's just a clean run, right? Like this is an example of Naxx going correctly. Again, the thing to note is how they're not doing tech. Maybe right now we could go check the Fun Police. I am curious to see the Fun Police in comparison. Did they do the stable pull? So like again, we'll just take that 30-second intermission here to look at the difference between the 2 fastest runs lately that's happened. Again, they do that piece of tech, it goes clean. But let's see. Looks like someone just died. Okay, so they had some people die here on the golem pull. I noticed on EU they do the golem pull kind of weird a lot of the time. That doesn't go very well. Seems to be a trend. But anyways, let's go to stable. Yes, so they do the stable pull. Does the stable pull go clean? No, they lose a warrior. So tech does cost them a bit compared to just zugging everything down in a zugging fashion. So Resuve went well. Thing to mention with Resuvius though, I don't see any like big tech with the start, right? They just do the standard start of having the priest go in. So again, all these little things that are potential time saves, not the biggest end of the world deal. These guys just have a super, super clean max rate overall. Always interesting for me to see how many people they have on dead side. You see maybe like 2.5 groups on live side. The rogue, 3 warriors, 3 mages, 1 warlock. They have 1 warlock on this side for Curse of Wreck. Looks like 3 healers on the other side. The hunter does die here. You see he feigned deaths and just has too many stacks and then dies. So Soulstones comes back. Dies again almost. Doesn't die though. So they were able to grab a ton of stuff here. You're going to see after Gothic, they're just running straight down. They cleared both sides of the gargoyles because they did the skip in Spiderwing. They need to kill 2 sets of them in Death Nightwing. And they just blast forward. Again, interesting to see these side mobs, right? How you got to wait a couple seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Like they want to be going in, but they have to kill these side mobs. And they stop for a second. Again, they could be pressing W harder right here. This is a good 5 seconds of just 10 seconds of deep downtime right here. This surprises me a little bit. I guess they have to summon someone. They don't have one of their mages. That's a big grief. So this was a significant loss right here. Would have been below a 45-minute run if it wasn't for what happened right here. Obviously, there's all different times you can say that. I think that they do have a really good opener cleave on for Horsemen. So 4 Horsemen was clean. Cleave went well. They run forward. Smash all this stuff down. Do the slime skip. The slime skip does go successfully. But how does the rogue die here? That's my question. Maybe just a holy water right there, kind of looks like. So typical rogue behavior, finding a way to reduce value or not add value on them. Not trying to be too mean, but uh, Rogue died there from going too ham. That's typical. Forgetting that you're wearing leather. Alright, so fortunately not the end of the world losing a rogue. They're blasting as they move forward here. Looks like they have two soakers, which I find interesting. That's just a trend more on Horde side. You really never see just one soaker. So again, a little bit lower DPS potential, having two DPS, or sorry, two soakers. You could have had one DPS otherwise. But all good. Do fine. So they do pull off this skip where they grab all the ads into the corner here and they pull Grob up. So this is very scary, but it goes clean. Looks like one, I guess that actually might be the priest doing the kites, I think. Yeah, so I think the priest is just the sacrifice to be able to pull off the kite for Grob. Some deep tech that they've practiced a lot of times at this point. So Thaddeus is just the warm-up. The real challenge is the upcoming Saf fight with Polarity being active. Really good timing here with the where the Polarity happened. They had really good luck. Let's see how their Saf was. So Pale is going to be tanking. Looks like a good opener. So far, so good. Very little damage output on the raid. People aren't getting owned by blizzards or anything, but there's some blizzards rip. So very safe. Looks like Labyrinth dies at the end there, maybe. Trying to spread out. Should have petried and didn't, it looks like. But overall, not the end of the world losing a couple there. It happens. Not a big time loss, just a res one or two. Lots of times you're waiting for the door for just a couple seconds at most. And again, just to mention, phase 2 is supposed to be 2 minutes longer. Blizzard is just very, very inept. Seems like pretty good RNG. There's the mind control. Ash quickly picks it up, so the tank has it. This is typical mages here. It's funny how once you see, I guess the ignite gets dropped actually, so maybe they're polymorphing and doing their job. I won't blame the mages. Yeah, okay, I see polymorphs going out. People are probably just whirlwinding, as happens. So they blast it down, get a Gressel, and fastest ever Horde Naxx. So props to the OK Booner team. I guess I never even really said which raid group this is. OK Booner has a long history of running Naxx on Era. They also have the one Horde Deathless Naxx run, so that's pretty cool. They now have speed and execution in the awards category, I guess you could say. So shout out to the gamers on Whitemane, still finding ways to set records. And better luck next time, EU. We got you again. So, GG's.